Let's get into today's episode of Why We Succeed.
I'm curious, Kristen, when we talk about success, how do you define it?
You know what? I define success as doing what God tells me to do. I think that success for a long time, and I'm going to be honest with you, Jay, for a long time, success to me was measured in terms of where I was financially, what I was doing, where was my positioning in life. And I kept coming up short because, you know, in that realm, you're going to always want more. You're going to always desire more. It doesn't matter where you are. You're like, okay, I got to get more. You know, I'm still not where I'm supposed to be. But when I relinquished all of that and said, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? And even on my Instagram bio, it's so funny. I used to have like listed all the things that I do. Now it literally says something like, at this point, I just wake up and do whatever God says. And that's so my bio may change from day to day. And so for me, success is obedience. It's it's the saying yes. It's saying yes to the things that he's asking of me. It's saying yes to the assignments, even when I don't understand them. Even when, like I said, they take me out of my comfort zone, because he has been pulling me out of my comfort zone a lot lately. But it's so much growth. Your growth is expedient and exponential when you move out of that comfort zone. So it's just really just doing what God tells me to do.
Oh man, I love that. And you're so right. Obedience is one of those things that is difficult, man, because especially if we are used to doing things our way, right? I can't speak for everybody. I'm a pretty strong-willed person. You know, once I kind of get set in my ways, you know, I'm off to the races. And you know, like I've admitted it. You know, tend to be that person that hits his head up against the wall a few times before I'm like, oh, I don't think this is the right direction, or you know, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. And thankfully, over time, I've been able to learn that, okay, I can actually see the warning before I collide with that wall. And part of it, like you mentioned, is being in tune with what God is asking us to do. I mean, case in point with this podcast, man, just to be fully transparent, I had started to launch an entirely different new ministry. I was right into it in the pool, like the water was all the way up to my knees, and then God was like, "Come on up out of there." I'm like, huh? Yeah. And then he like, yo, I'm repositioning you to go start Why We Need to Succeed, or Why We Succeed. And I'm like, oh, but like I just started this, like I've been working on it for like the past 2-3 months. I just launched it like a month ago. Like the people looking for it. I done got this ball rolling. What you telling me to do? And that obedience is key. It's like it made me so uncomfortable, if I'm being so honest, Kristen, because you know me, like I value relationships with people, and having to reach out to people that I had arranged and scheduled discussions with and had to say like, oh man, you know, things have changed, you know, like we need to either cancel or reschedule, or, you know, kind of see what else we can do. That's tough. That's tough for me, because I'm a person that likes to live by my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, because when people see you say something and you do something else, they start to be like, oh, are you really trustworthy? Are you somebody that I can really trust when it comes down to something serious? And I never want to have people questioning whether or not they can trust me. And, you know, that was definitely a tough experience for me. But like you said, obedience trumps it. And that's why we on here right now.
Absolutely. But let me just say this, Jay. I mean, you're such a man of integrity. And so your reputation, it's gone before you. So even in those moments, I know you value relationships, and I do too. I believe that they're the currency of life. But I don't think any of those people had anything ill to even think about you, because they know who you are. So, I mean, that's why it's so important to live that life of integrity and to allow your character to speak on your behalf. So I don't think you should have worried about anything.
Hey, spoken just like a big sister. Like, like don't even stress on that.
No.
I love that. And when you look at your journey as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, did you always know that you would be a businesswoman one day? Was that something that you always knew from way back when?
I can't say that I always knew it, but I've always lived it. Like when I tell my story of my entrepreneurship journey, I have to always go back to selling candy in elementary school. I mean, I started there. Then in high school, I would I would write poems. I've always been a writer. So I would write love poems and the boys would buy them from me to give to the girls. Then
smart.
Then I got to college and I would write term papers for people. Like, I mean, it's probably not ethically okay, but I used to make money off of writing people's term papers. I have more than one degree. I say this all the time. I have several degrees all across this country because I helped a lot of people graduate. So I used to
You've been birthing people's vision for a long time, huh?
Yes, like I didn't even know I was a midwife back then, but I was a midwife. So yeah, I was writing papers, and then right out of college, my best friend and I, we started. It was called Feet of Faith, a shoe team. We had an online shoe store, but then we realized that we'd like to wear the product. There's a line in I think it's Biggie's song. And he says, "Don't get high on your own supply." Well, we were getting high on our own supply. Okay, we were wearing all the products.
Like, we ain't got to sell this one, do we? Like, no, not this one. No, we keeping this one for ourselves.
So we were making no money.
Inventory turned to your closet.
Absolutely. So we had all the shoes and no money. So that folded. Then I realized that I loved event planning. I still love event planning. So I launched an event planning company, and I realized, and this is key, I want someone who's listening to understand this. Everything that you love to do is not meant to be a profession. And so for me, I tried it though. And I don't not recommend you trying it. Like, go ahead and try it. But I tried it and I realized that this was more of a labor of love for me. So even now, I still put my all into events that I plan for my family or for myself, but it wasn't meant to be a profession. So then I moved from there, and circumstances pushed me into launching a sweet treats business. I didn't even know I had this talent. I didn't even know I had this gift. Okay. But I used to make the most beautiful confections, and that was my most successful business up until that point. And for a while, I even had a storefront. It was amazing.
Yo, you was doing it. Yo, I didn't know. Like, see, that's why I'm loving this. I didn't know all this about you. Like, yo, you've been putting work in, Kristen.
Yes,
yes. You didn't, like, you know how they say, you didn't just wake up like this. Like, it took some time.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Okay, and I grew to this. Now
I understand the name of the podcast even more. God really did put you up on game. Like, you've been in multiple industries, girl, just putting your stamp on them.
Yeah, and you know what? But I've taken something from each one of those, and that's why I tell people God put me up on game. Our tagline is, God wants us to win. That's why He puts us up on the game. So I believe in the W's. And I believe in the L's too, but not as losses. I take a learn every single time. So everything I've walked away from, I've taken something from it and applied it to my next. Hey, Success Squad. I hope you're enjoying my conversation with Jay. I'm Kristen R. Harris, and you can find me at KristenRHarris.com. Those of you who are ready to write and publish those books, come find us at ScribeTribePublishing.com. I would love to connect with you. And those of you who need an extra boost in your prayer life, please pick up my prayer journal. You can find it on my website, KristenRHarris.com. It's entitled The God Put Me Up on Game, the prayer journal. So it will bless your life tremendously.